right, so get this. We're diving deep into Mr. Smith Goes to Washington today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you want to know what this classic film, often seen as like a cornerstone of American patriotism,
Yeah.
has to say to politicians today, buckle up, because this is where fiction meets reality.
It really is. It's fascinating, isn't it?
Right.
I mean, we often look to like history books or political analyses for guidance.
Yeah.
But here we are turning to a work of art, a film,
Right.
to see what wisdom it holds for modern day leadership.
Exactly.
It's really cool.
And let's not forget, this movie wasn't exactly a documentary.
Right.
It's a story.
Yeah.
But that's what makes it so interesting.
Totally.
So scene 1, a Senate seat is up for grabs after Senator Foley kicks the bucket.
Oh, wow.
Governor Hopper needs to pick a replacement.
Right.
But he's got this puppet master, Jim Taylor, breathing down his neck.
Jim Taylor, the quintessential political boss.
Pulling strings, calling the shots.
He doesn't want a leader. He wants a pawn.
Exactly.
And caught in the middle of all of this is Senator Joseph Paine.
Oh, yeah, Paine.
Remember him?
Yeah.
Once upon a time, Paine had ideals, maybe even a bit of that Jeffersonian fire.
Right, but now he's Taylor's right-hand man.
Yeah.
Stuck between, doing what's right and clinging to power, and then boom, enters Jefferson Smith.
Oh, yeah.
Not your typical politician, right?
No, not at all.
He's practically plucked from obscurity to fill the Senate seat.
He is.
It's almost comical how accidental his rise to power is.
They still talk about a fish out of water.
Right.
Smith is this wide-eyed idealist.
Oh, yeah.
Passionate about his work with the Boy Rangers. And completely enamored with the legacy of the Founding Fathers.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when he arrives in Washington, he's like a kid in a candy store.
I love that scene where he first sees the Capitol dome.
Oh, it's so good.
He's completely mesmerized.
Yes.
It's almost like he can't believe he's actually there.
Yeah.
And get this, instead of luxuriating in the fancy hotel suite they set up for him,
Right.
he chooses to stay in a modest boarding house.
It's such a stark contrast, right?
Yes,
the
ma'am.
lavishness of Washington versus Smith's almost childlike innocence.
Right.
It's almost painful to watch how naive he is.
Yeah.
Especially when you see the cynicism of the press who are just ready to pounce on him. I mean, they paint him as this clueless bumpkin, completely out of his element.
And you can feel that culture clash building.
Oh, totally.
The cynicism of Washington versus Smith's unwavering idealism.
Yeah.
It's a classic setup for a showdown.
It is.
And boy, does it deliver.
It does. But that clash also reveals something crucial.
What's
it? Forces us to ask, like, what happens when genuine idealism confronts a system that thrives on manipulation and power plays?
Right.
Does it crumble? Does it adapt?
What happens?
I don't know.
And more importantly, what lessons can today's politicians facing similar battles learn from a character like Jefferson Smith?
That's the question, isn't it?
It is. We'll dig into that next, but first let's talk about Smith's rude awakening.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, he comes into this idolizing Senator Paine.
Paine,
who is now a symbol of everything Smith despises.
Right.
The disillusionment is palpable.
It is.
It's like watching someone's hero crumble right before their eyes.
It's rough.
And it's not just Paine, right?
No.
Smith stumbles upon Taylor's shady dealings with the Willet Creek Dam project.
Oh, right.
This is where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
Suddenly, Smith is faced with a moral dilemma. Stay silent and protect his career, or speak out and risk everything.
It's a choice that resonates with so many contemporary political figures.
Doesn't it?
Yeah. Do you play the game or do you risk it all for your principles?
Exactly. And in true cinematic fashion,
Right.
Smith decides to fight. He's going up against the political machine, and it's not going to be pretty.
It's not going to be pretty at all.
This is where Taylor shows his true colors.
Ugh.
He unleashes a smear campaign that would make even the most seasoned politician sweat.
Oh, man.
The press.
Yeah.
Fueled by Taylor's manipulation.
Right.
Tears into Smith, painting him as a thief, a fraud.
It's a chilling reminder of how easily public perception can be swayed.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when those in power control the narrative.
Right.
I mean, think about it. How often do we see similar tactics employed today?
All the time.
Using media to discredit and silence dissenting voices.
It's scary.
It's a playbook as old as time, unfortunately.
And this is where Smith's story takes a turn towards the iconic.
Okay.
He realizes the system is rigged against him, so he chooses a weapon they can't control.
Oh.
His voice.
What's he going to do?
Get ready, because we're about to talk about that filibuster.
The filibuster.
Yeah.
One of the most powerful moments in cinematic history.
It really...
It's Smith standing alone on the Senate floor.
Yeah.
Exhausted but unwavering.
Yeah.
His voice cracking as he speaks truth to power.
It's powerful.
He's fighting for his ideals, for the very soul of democracy.
I know.
Even as his body begins to fail him.
And you know what? It's more than just a dramatic scene. What? It's an embodiment of that classic American spirit. The belief that even one person can make a difference.
It really is.
But it also poses a challenge to today's politicians.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have the courage to stand up like Smith, even when it seems impossible?
That's the question.
It's a question that lingers as we move into the climax of the film, where Smith's fight reaches a fever pitch.
Yeah.
We'll dive into that next. But let me ask you this.
Okay.
What stands out to you so far? What's resonating most with you as we unpack this classic tale?
Well, let me think about that for a second.
Okay. What's really sticking out to you?
You know, I think it's just so powerful to see someone like Smith, who is so idealistic, go up against this machine that seems so determined to crush him, and yet he never gives up.
Right.
He never compromises his principles.
Exactly.
And that's just, it's really inspiring, you know, in a world where it's so easy to become cynical.
Right.
It's a reminder that there's still hope.
It is.
That one person can make a difference.
Absolutely.
And that's something that I think we all need to hear right now.
Yeah, I totally agree.
So yeah, that's what's really resonating with me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
And we'll be right back to dive deeper into the climax of Mr. Smith Goes to Washington and what it means for us today.
Sounds good. It's incredible how Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, you know, manages to capture that quintessential American spirit,
right?
The fight for what's right, the belief in the power of one voice.
Yeah.
Something that still resonates today.
Totally.
Especially in a political landscape that often feels cynical and disillusioning.
I mean, think about it.
Right.
Smith is up against a machine that's built to crush idealism.
Yeah.
And yet he manages to expose the corruption, to stand up for what he believes in, even when it seems like all hope is lost.
Right.
That resilience, that refusal to give up.
Yeah.
I think that's something that a lot of people crave from their leaders today.
It's not just about winning or losing, is it?
Oh.
It's about the courage to fight for what you believe in, even when the odds are stacked against you.
Right.
And that brings us back to Senator Paine.
Oh, Paine.
He's a character that embodies the struggle so many politicians face.
Yeah.
You know, the temptation to compromise, to play the game, even if it means sacrificing your ideals.
Paine's a tragic figure almost. He started with the best intentions.
Right.
But somewhere along the way, he lost his way.
He did.
He became complicit in the very system he once wanted to change.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder.
Yeah.
Where's the line between pragmatism and selling out?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Mm.
How do you navigate the complexities of politics without losing your soul?
Right.
You know, Smith's journey, his unwavering belief in doing what's right, no matter the cost.
Yeah.
It's a powerful counterpoint to Paine's dissent.
It really is.
It's almost like the film is saying, look, it's tough. But staying true to yourself is possible.
And that message, it feels even more relevant today, right?
It does.
With all the political maneuvering, backroom deals, it's so easy to become cynical.
It is.
But Smith's story, his fight for those boy rangers, their camp, it reminds us that there's still power in idealism.
There is.
In standing up for the little guy.
And let's be real. It's not a fairy tale ending.
Right.
Smith collapses from exhaustion during that epic filibuster.
Right.
The system, while shaken, doesn't crumble.
Right.
Taylor and his cronies, they don't exactly face a reckoning.
True. It's not a clean victory.
No.
But there's a shift, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Public opinion turns against Taylor. People see the truth.
They do.
And maybe, just maybe, that's enough to plant a seed of change.
I think so.
It's a reminder that even small victories, even moments of truth breaking through, can have a ripple effect.
Exactly.
It's about chipping away at the cynicism, at the apathy. It's about showing people that their voices matter.
Yes.
That they can demand better from their leaders.
Absolutely.
And that brings us back to the question we posed earlier.
Okay.
What can today's politicians learn from Mr. Smith Goes to Washington?
That's a good question.
I think it's about remembering why they got into politics in the first place.
Right.
It's about serving the people.
Yeah.
Not special interests or personal gain.
Mm-hmm.
It's about having the courage to stand up for what's right.
Uh-huh.
Even when it's unpopular.
It is. It's so hard.
It is.
But it's so important.
It is. And it's about understanding the power of connection. Smith's filibuster, it wasn't just about words.
It wasn't.
It was about tapping into that deep-seated desire for honesty, for integrity and leadership.
Mm-hmm.
He connected with people on a human level.
He did.
And that's what made his message so potent.
He really did.
So, while Mr. Smith might be a product of its time, its themes of idealism, corruption, the fight for what's right, they feel incredibly timely.
They do.
It's a film that reminds us that cynicism doesn't have to win.
Yeah.
That the fight for a better world is worth fighting, even if it takes a lifetime.
Right.
But what about the role of the media in all of this?
Oh, yeah.
They're not exactly portrayed in a flattering light, are they?
You're right. The media plays a fascinating and complex role in the film.
Yeah.
It's a force that can be used for good or for ill.
Right.
And we see both sides of that coin in Smith's journey.
Okay.
Let's dive into that in more detail.
So we talked about Smith, this idealistic, almost naive figure.
Right. Thrown into the lion's den of Washington politics.
Yeah.
We've seen how the system works. The power plays the cynicism, but let's not forget the media.
Right.
They're not just bystanders in this story.
No, they're definitely players.
Yeah.
And Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, it doesn't shy away from showing how their influence can be both a weapon and a tool for change.
I mean, think about those early scenes where they portray Smith as this bumbling, out-of-touch character.
Right.
They're more focused on the spectacle than on, like, understanding his genuine intentions.
Almost like they're feeding the cynicism.
Right.
Turning these complex issues into bite-sized, sensationalized narratives.
Exactly. And then, of course, there's Taylor.
Oh, yeah.
Who weaponizes the press for his own gain. He feeds them lies, manipulates them into becoming part of his smear campaign against Smith.
It's a stark reminder of how easily misinformation can spread.
How those in power can exploit the media to control the narrative.
It's scary.
Makes you think about how relevant that is today.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we live in a world bombarded with information.
We do.
And it's not always easy to separate fact from fiction.
That's for sure. But here's the thing.
Okay.
The film also shows that the media isn't inherently evil.
Right.
Remember Saunders?
Saunders.
She starts out as part of the machine, cynical and disillusioned.
Yeah, but she undergoes a transformation, doesn't she?
She does.
She sees the truth about Smith, the injustice of what's happening, and she decides to use her knowledge of the media to fight back.
She does. It's like a glimmer of hope.
It is.
In this system that feels so rigged.
Right.
Right. She uses her skills to counter Taylor's propaganda, to get Smith's story out there, to expose the truth.
It's a powerful reminder that even within a flawed system, individuals can choose to act with integrity.
Totally.
To use their talents for good.
And it's a message that resonates even more strongly today.
It does.
With the rise of social media and the democratization of information, we all have the potential to be amplifiers of truth.
We do.
To challenge those who misuse their platforms. To hold those in power accountable.
Exactly.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, let's go back to that final question.
All right.
How can a politician today embody the spirit of Jefferson Smith without being crushed by the system?
That's the question.
It's a big question, and there's no easy answer.
No, but I think the film offers some guidance.
Okay, what's that?
It's about remembering that integrity matters.
Okay.
It's about having the courage to stand up for what's right. Even when it's unpopular.
Right.
It's about connecting with people authentically, earning their trust.
It's tough.
It is, but it's possible.
Right. And it's about recognizing that change isn't always immediate or dramatic.
Right.
It's about planting those seeds, fighting for those small victories. Believing that even in the face of cynicism, something better is possible.
I like that.
Mr. Smith Goes to Washington might be a fictional tale. But its message remains powerful.
It does.
It reminds us that we all have a role to play in shaping a more just and equitable world. Right. Whether we're in the halls of power or simply engaging in our communities.
Absolutely.
It's a call to action.
It is.
An invitation to embrace our own inner Jefferson Smith.
I love it.
So there you have it.
Right.
Our deep dive into Mr. Smith Goes to Washington.
A classic.
A film that's not just a piece of entertainment,
right,
but a reflection on the ideals, the challenges, and the enduring hope that shape American democracy.
Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us on this journey.
It's been a pleasure.
And remember, as Smith himself said, lost causes are the only ones worth fighting for.
That's right.
Keep fighting the good fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see you next time.